Hello. 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 Can you hear me? Okay. Um. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. It's not loud. Hello. Okay. Are we ready? Hello. Are we good? Okay. Okay. I'd like to inform us that the Honorable Minister is already here. He's seated, and we'll be starting in the next 3 minutes. And in the next 3 minutes, we'll close the doors and make sure everyone is seated. And also, we would like to reiterate our house rules. Please make sure that your phones are on silent or just put it on vibration. Aside that, please let's minimize the moving around, especially cameras. Please, cameras will have only 3 minutes to make sure we're complete with the setup, and then we go live because we're already live on the live stream. So in 3 minutes, we'll be starting. 3 minutes.
Hello. Hello. 1, 2. Check mic 2.
We'll go live in 2 minutes. Two minutes. 2 minutes. Okay. Okay, we're ushering the Honorable Minister in now, please. Honorable Minister of Power, Engineer Abubakar Aliyu, FNSC, Honorable Minister of State Power, Prince Godi J.D. Abba, OFR, Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity to the President, Madam Garba Shehu, Acting Chair of the Presidential Communications Team for today, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Strategic Communications, Ms. Oge Modi, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Special Projects, Mr. Aniefeok Johnson, Special Advisor to the President on Infrastructure, Ahmad Zakari, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Power, Engineer Nebolisa Anako. Also permit me to recognize the heads of agencies under the Ministry of Power who have joined the Honorable Minister for this briefing today. We have Mr. Kenny Anuwe, MD, FGN Co. Engineer Garba Sanusi, seated here, Chairman of NERC. Engineer Aliyu, MD, CIF, NEMSA. Mr. Ahmad Salihijo, MD, CEO, REA. Mr. A. Fabemi, MD, CEO, NAMCO. Engineer Abdulaziz, Acting MD, CEO, TCN. Ahmed Bolaji Nagode, DG NAPTIN. Yes, sir.
Can you give a chance for them to be seated?
Okay.
So each one is calling, so let's have an idea of
who the person is. Okay, sir. Thank you very much. So I'll start again. Mr. Kenny Anuwe, FB, FGN Co. Engineer Garba Sanusi, Chairman of NERC. Engineer Aliyu, MDCIF, NEMSA. Mr. Ahmad Salihijo, MD, CEO, REA. Mr. Fabemi, MD, CEO, NAMCO. Engineer Abdulaziz, Acting MD, CEO of TCN. Ahmed Bolaji Nagode, DG NAPTIN. Okay, he hasn't joined us yet. For the sake of time, I would like to also recognize all senior special assistants, and personal assistants to the President and all members of the Presidential Communications Team, as well as all the directors that have accompanied the Honorable Minister and also his team members who are also here present for this briefing today. Gentlemen of the press, good morning. We humbly welcome you to the 31st session of the State House briefing organized by the Presidential Communications Team. In the month of March 2022, the Presidential Communications Team has adopted a plan to throw a spotlight on the presidential initiatives with the core focus on briefings to be handled based on the Presidential Power Initiative for today. To commence this set of briefings, we are scheduled to host today, 3rd of March 2022, the Honorable Minister of Power, Engineer Abubakar Aliyu, FNSE. He will provide key updates on the Presidential Power Initiative, which is part of the key interventions under the Ministry of Power, and he will further speak on the major projects being undertaken by the ministry and the impact of the implementation of these key power projects and what they will do for the economy of Nigeria. The Honorable Minister's presentation will last for about 20 to 30 minutes, about 19 slides, which will be shown on this projector here, after which we will take questions from the press solely based on the presentation and also issues pertaining to the ministry that he heads. At this juncture, it is my honor to invite the Honorable Minister to the podium for his presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon, or good morning, sorry. Perhaps before I make my presentation, I should preface by, first of all, recognizing the already laid down protocols. But I would like to recognize my colleague, the Minister of State for Power, Prince J.D. Godi Abba, my Permanent Secretary, my colleagues in the sector, and gentlemen of the press. and ladies. And I will also want to take maybe some few minutes before my allocated 20 to 30 minutes to remind us that as we are standing here on the stage, so is our position now on the stage of the nation in this country. Just as his life is a stage, you come to the stage, do your own part, and you leave. So is our position, myself and my colleagues, in the stage of the NESI, Nigerian electricity supply industry. We are on the stage now doing our own part because the sector predates all of us. So I would also want to remind us that the situation we are battling with in the sector is not something that starts during the time we are on the stage. Some participants have been on the stage before, several years past, and it's now our turn. They have done their own bits. And when we came in, we saw what they have done. And we are doing our own bit now to add value to whatever they have done. They might have done less, and from my own view, as a country, we have done very well in giving attention to not only the power infrastructure in this country, but to all our infrastructures. And that has led to the situation of dilapidation that we are facing now. And the sector, since our coming, the coming of the present government of President Muhammadu Buhari, since 2015, has turned its attention to our infrastructure. And the attention this government is giving, my own view, is unprecedented. The sector has, the infrastructure sectors have never received the attention that this government is giving to it. So, if we narrow to the power sector, it's also equally receiving the attention. But the enormity of the decay is what we are battling with in the sector to ensure that we succumb all the challenges that is associated with electricity delivery in this country. So, as I said earlier, we are battling. We don't have time. The time we have, even though government is a continuum, if we finish everything and we remove all the challenges in the country in all aspects, then one may ask, why do we need any government anymore? So, as it is, challenges will always be there. That is why we have governance to ensure that we pull down all challenges and provide enabling environment to our people, provide safety and so on and so forth. So while we are here, we are doing our best, and today we are here to interact with you, to tell you what we are doing in the power sector, in the industry, the NACI. We are going to be very sincere and honest, transparent in talking to you. So you listen to us carefully, and you can judge us whether we are doing enough. And in judging us, I urge you to be also to reciprocate that sincerity and honesty and patience. And so we will end of this session and go happily ever after and continue with the So I have some slides here which I may be talking to them from time to time. I have a speech which, since I'm be restricted by time, I will read the speech, and I believe the slides are aligned with what I will be talking. Then maybe in the question and answer session, I may be referring to some of the pictures here and there. And who knows, by the time I finish, maybe I will have addressed all of your concerns. There might not be any question and answer, hopefully. But if you have, we'll try to address them. I'm not alone. I'm here with the experts in the sector who are the movers and shakers of the delivery of all the reforms, the interventions. They are all here with me. So I hope we'll be able to address if there are any concerns. So thank you very much for having me. So as the presenter mentioned, I was invited to come and talk more on the PPI, the Presidential Power Initiative, which is driving the seamen intervention. So that is one intervention done on the grid. There are so many others. So I felt it is better to take everything together and alongside together with the PPI intervention. So here I go. The Nigerian electricity supply industry consists of grid power, embedded power, and captive industrial power. It is important for Nigerians to understand that all of this power is governed under the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission. Despite the constant communications of 4,000 megawatts of power, the actual figures are as follows. The Nigerian electricity supply industry delivers grid, captive, and embedded power to the tune of almost 8,000 megawatts daily, and not 4,000 megawatts, and has an installed capacity of almost 18,000 megawatts, not 13,000 megawatts. These are not my figures. This was an industry study conducted by KPMG recently. Much of the improvement to 8,000 megawatt has occurred under the Buhari administration through positive industrial policies driving captive industrial power investment and improve grid stability. Although we continue and must continue to work to improve the performance of the grid. The split of the above that the NESI delivers and has installed 128 grid power plants with installed capacity of 13,000 megawatts and operational daily capacities of around 5,000 megawatts. These include power plants like Egbin, Ugeli, Geregu, Kainji, and others. 266 captive power plants, mainly industrial, above 1 megawatts. What the KPMG studies has done is to record any megawatts that is above 1 megawatts. And that leads to that figure that I have just mentioned, the 18,000 megawatts. The 266 captive power plants, mainly industrial, over 1 megawatt, with installed capacities of 4,000 megawatts and daily operational capacities of around 2,500 megawatts. These include the Dangote cement capacities in Obajana, Ibese, 400 megawatts, and the 240 megawatts NLNG's Bonny Island power plant, among others. These are never captured in the statistics, but are part of the NESI and form our industrial load for jobs. In the future, many of these plants will integrate to the grid. In fact, some of them supply power to communities they occupy. The problem we're having is the strength of the grid. Over time, we have not given much attention to the network, the grid network. So some of these captives that are providing electricity to their local environment will eventually, after we are able to strengthen the grid, will eventually come to the grid and join the grid, and we can have all of these megawatts on the grid. In the future, many of these plants will integrate to the grid. In fact, some of them supply power to communities they occupy. 3, 16 embedded power plants with 549 megawatts of installed capacities and 190 megawatts of daily operational capacity. It should be noted that these numbers are not static and can shift up and down between installed and operational capacities based on demand and operational factors. An incremental 4,000 megawatt plus of power generating assets will be completed under the life of this administration. These include the Zungero Hydro, Kashimbila Hydro, Afam 3, Fast Power, Kudenda Kaduna Power Plant, the Opai PH2 gas power plant, the Dangote Refinery power plant, and many others. Our population is growing, so as we fix our grid, we must continue to invest in generation to catch up to our deficit and eventually keep pace with our growth. Through our efforts, we expect Nigeria will have 22 gigawatt of installed capacity by the end of the life of the Buhari administration, inshallah. Grid interventions. From the KPNG rebasing analysis above, it is clear that the NESI needs to make better utilization of particularly the grid-based power plant. The only way this can happen is through the improvement of the grid. The federal government has many key grid initiatives with more than 125.2 billion naira budgeted between 2015 to 2021 to TCN and development finance funding through the likes of World Bank, AFDB, African Development Bank, AFD, JICA, and others of up to $1.7 billion. The Central Bank of Nigeria is also funding $250 million for the rehabilitation of critical interfaces between transmission and distribution to increase and stabilize power delivery. Additionally, through the Siemens Presidential Power Initiative, we will bring in an additional $2 billion or more to the transmission grid. Just as I prefaced earlier, I told you we have so many interventions coming in, of which the Siemens intervention is one of those interventions. This is almost $4 billion secured by this administration to augment the grid. It should be noted that many of these funds are being actively spent and the result will be felt over time. We are working tirelessly to ensure that all of these investments translate to incremental delivered power. There are 135 ongoing projects for transmission lines, substations, and other associated grid infrastructure. TCN has completed 30 key substation projects and 12 important transmission lines. Some of the critical grid intervention across the NESI include the resuscitation of the second Egbin Aja transmission line and the recently commissioned NDPHC Lafia 2 by 150 MVA and 2 by 60, 132, 33, 330 kV transmission station under the NIPP. Other ongoing interventions include 330 kV quad lines in Alaujo to Onitsha, Delta Power Station to Benin, as well as the Kano to Katsina 330 kV line, respectively. There is also the important Lagos-Ogun transmission infrastructure project under JICA funding. I am also pleased to announce that we have begun implementation of the Siemens Presidential Power Initiative with the purchase of 10 Mobitra transformers and 10 mobile substations. The pre-engineering segment of the PPI contract is complete, and we expect contract offers on 127 transmission and distribution projects, brownfield and greenfield from Siemens. Brownfields are existing substations. Then the greenfields are new ones. Just for clarification. Recently, through the CBN intervention for transmission distribution interface, we have also awarded more than 30 substation rehabilitations and 1,570 MVA transformer capacity upgrades, with 34 critical transformers to be installed or replaced. We are also retooling the Nigerian Electricity Management Supply Agency to allow them effectively monitor the quality of equipment and construction ongoing in the sector. A critical challenge we have is delay of projects due to right-of-way issues. In some instances, projects with complete procurement and equipment on the ground are unable to proceed. This is one of our major problems. So we are working so hard to see how we can get access and complete these projects. We have a lot of them. For instance, the Benin North to Oshogbo, which is a 330 kV line. We cannot proceed because of right-of-way. Kano Katsina is also 330 line. It's over 40%. And all the materials for the job are on site to complete. We cannot proceed because of right-of-way. And this affects the delivery of these projects. So people need to know that we only need to pass and connect and expand these supplies of electricity. And all the projects are ongoing. We have funding on them, but they are all stalled because of the right-of-way issues. We are engaging with the state governors through the Nigerian Governors Forum to drive a holistic solution to these lingering issues. Some examples of critical projects held up by right-of-way are the Benin to Oshobo, which I have mentioned, 330 kV line, which is 250 kilometers. Ikwet Ipene to Ikot Abasi is also 330 kV line, 68 kilometer, and the Kano Katsina 330 kV line, 180 kilometer. It should be noted that as we continue to improve overall power supply levels, our investment have improved stability of the grid through the efforts of our system operator under TCN. Under this administration, grid stability has drastically improved. In 2021, the nation only had 2 adverse grid events, partial or full collapses of the grid. Compare this to a peak of 42 events in 2010 and greater than 10 events every year before 2020. Service-based tariff update. Since September 2020, we have increased financial stability of the market while improving service delivery by ensuring that DISCOs only charge cost-reflective tariffs where they deliver power. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission split the consumers into 5 service quality bands, band A, B, C, and D and E, through the regulated DISCO performance improvement plans. We are forcing location by location improvement as a prerequisite for tariff adjustments. The regulator has also forced DISCOs that fail to perform to reduce tariffs to lower bands accordingly. We are working assiduously to ensure that all locations in the country are metered through the National Mass Metering Program. DISCOs that fail to perform will be sanctioned. We continue to engage with organized labor who have continued to monitor the process and provide important feedback on improvements needed for Nigerians. Gone are the days where charges are made with poor service. Service-based tariff and the central bank oversight of DISCO bank account has ensured that payments discipline is instituted in the market for collections and payments to reach generation and transmission through a regulated payment waterfall. Over the past 18 months, there has been an increase in market liquidity as a result of critical financial reforms in the market. DISCO performance management. As of January 2022, the performance management of DISCOs has been fully transferred to NAC from the Bureau of Public Procurement. We have a robust team led by the Boston Consulting Group performing a diagnostic of the performance of DISCOs from post-privatization to December 2021, and the results will be concluded soon. Based on the results, actions will be taken against underperforming DISCOs under the guidelines of our contractual agreements. As the government has improved regulatory certainty, we are also seeing evolutions in the ownership of DISCOs. I am happy to note that the Yola DISCO was acquired in 2021 from the FGN and is now back to operating under private ownership. You can also see the Abuja DISCO and Ibadan DISCO have commercial transitions ongoing through UBA and AMCOM respectively. We are a nation of laws, and we believe that enforcement of contractual agreements and regulatory clarity is the best way to bring underperforming DISCOs into compliance and improve the market. The DISCOs are the consumer-facing segment of the value chain and arguably the most important, especially for liquidity. The federal government of Nigeria is providing support to DISCOs through facilities for the National Mass Metering Program to improve liquidity, concessionary lending for OPEX, support to transition DISCOs to sustainability, as well as infrastructure lending through CBN and the World Bank DISREP. The federal government is also settling all outstanding verified MDA debts. 40 billion naira is being paid this month, and any balances remaining will be paid post-verification. DISCOs that improve will continue to get support, with DISCOs, DISCOs that do not will face the commercial consequences. There are challenges in the sector, but the outlook is positive. As a testament, we are seeing a private sector investment resurgence. BPE closed the Yola DISCO and AFAM 3 GENCO transaction and also facilitated resolution of the long-standing ABA IPP issue, resulting in over 150 billion naira in investment in the sector, to mention a few. National Mass Metering Program. President Muhammadu Buhari is firm on his stance that all Nigerians must be metered to improve fairness and transparency in the nation. To that effect, the National Mass Metering Program was launched through a partnership between the Central Bank of Nigeria and the NAC. This led to commitments to finance over 200 billion for DISCOs to meter all Nigerians in an accelerated fashion through concessionary lending. Currently, close to 1 million meters have been rolled out under the first phase. Accelerated procurement is ongoing for the second phase of 4 million meters, with critical focus on local manufacturers to provide jobs through the program. The first phase generated 10,000 jobs in installation and assembly. We anticipate that the second phase contract will be awarded by the end of the first quarter of this year. There will be a third phase that will provide an additional 2 million meters funded through the World Bank. It should be noted that each meter for a household covers up to 5 citizens. We aim to provide meters for all households and eliminate the metering gap. In the interim, the capping regulation is being enforced by NAC to ensure that arbitrarily estimated billing is curtailed. NAC is finalizing the launch of a large customer complaint center to ensure that instances of abuse by market players are reported and addressed expeditiously. To ensure adequate training for meter installers, the National Power Training Institute, NAPTIM, is looking to partner with NPower to train 5,000 meter installers as we kick off the second phase. Eligible customers, bilateral contracting, and off-grid initiatives. As described above, we must find ways to optimize usage of our generating assets to deliver power to citizens. To that effect, we have resolved long-standing issues between the Nigerian bulk electricity trader, NBET, and generating companies that will allow idle capacity to be sold to eligible customers and through bilateral deals to the discos. It should be noted that our focus is for all available power to go to the grid to serve citizens and take advantage of economies of scale to keep prices low. But in the interim, it is important for us to try all avenues to provide electricity to Nigerians. Off-grid initiative. Budgetary allocations to REA in 2022 is over 40 billion naira. We are also working with the World Bank and African Development Bank to complete the execution of the Nigerian Electrification Program, NEP, funding of $550 million. NEP is a combination of subsidies, direct contracts, and technical assistance to support electrification across Nigeria. I must mention that prior to the Buhari administration, the Rural Electrification Fund, REF, that was created by the Electricity Power Sector Reform Act of 2005 had never been operationalized till 2016. Through the Rural Electrification Fund, we will execute more than 5 billion naira of off-grid, mainly solar projects across the country this year alone. Since 2016, the REF under REA has executed more than 4 billion naira in projects where partial grants are provided to developers to keep rates low for those electrified. I am also pleased to highlight that the Economic Sustainability Plan led by the Vice President has supported the ministry in driving an additional 40 billion naira in off-grid funding through Solar Power Niger loans via the Central Bank of Nigeria. The ESP Solar Power Niger will help us to achieve 5 million connections impacting over 20 million Nigerians. There are projects ongoing under SPN and NDPHC, NNPC, and the NSIA. We continue to complete critical electrification projects across the country. The Bayero University Kano Solar Plant under energizing education is a 4 megawatts intervention. All federal universities are being covered under this scheme through a combination of FGN, World Bank, and AFDB funding. Under Solar Power Niger and NDPHC partnership, A-Solar is rolling out 100,000 solar home systems across the country, and NSIA, partnering under SPN, just announced a 10 billion Naira fund for developers targeting more than 250,000 solar connections. Also, the World Bank, NEP, is funding mini-grids in 100 hospitals across the country to improve our COVID response. We have also changed critical subsidy rules to allow for interconnected mini-grids to be funded under the NEP subsidies, opening up a new space of partnerships between off-grid companies and discourse in underserved communities. Recent power delivery challenges. Before I conclude, I would like to discuss the increased load shedding you may have observed in Abuja and other areas in the country. With the reduction in hydro capacity during the dry season, additional load needs to be taken up by our gas plants. We are having maintenance work in the eastern axis around Odupami, leading to reduced power supply from the usually reliable NDPHC Calabar power plant. And we are having challenges at Okoloma gas station linked to AFAM 6 power plant. We are working with NNPC and other gas suppliers also to improve the pressure on the western axis, and that is precluding these units from reaching optimum supply. These challenges are surmountable, and we have a three-pronged approach as we are executing. One, we are working on more farm gas supply contracts for the power sector backed by improved liquidity. These contracts will have stiff financial penalties for underperformance. Increase energy mix to improve energy security. We will complete the Zungero hydro plant, the Katsina wind plant, Kashimbila hydro, as well as ensure the challenges with Gurara are permanently resolved, partnering with the Ministry of Water Resources. We are also working to resolve issues that have prevented large on-grid solar from taking off in Nigeria. We are retooling the system operator for improved dispatch optimization based on technologies and improved maintenance, schedule alignment across generators. The challenges have been identified, and we have short-term solutions as well as long-term solutions. Conclusion. We are working assiduously to resolve short-term load shedding challenges. I'd like you also to take away that we deliver 8,000 megawatts of electricity daily through a combination of grid, embedded, and industrial captive supply of electricity. Much of this capacity added during the life of this administration. The FGN has secured and is executing up to $4 billion in investment in the grid to ensure more grid power is delivered to citizens. we are on the path to resolving the financial challenges in the sector, and we will continue to provide robust and clear regulation to keep participants such as DISCOS, GENCOS, and even TCN in line to deliver for Nigeria. I will continue to provide updates periodically on our progress. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for that very detailed presentation. While he takes his seat, we'll get ready for questions. As we may all recall, we're also streaming this program live on the Aso Villa YouTube platform. So we'll take some questions from here, and if you don't mind, Honorable Minister, we'll take questions also from our online audience. Okay. I can see the hands are up already. So we'll take, in our usual manner, we'll take 4 questions for the first set, and then for the second set, we'll take another 4 questions. So I'll start with Ruth for Bloomberg. Thank Deji. Deji this day, Emmanuel Anule, John Bosco, and then for the second set, I think we'll start with you, Felix. So we'll take these 4, first of all. Ruth, Deji, Emmanuel, and John Bosco. So Ruth.
My name is Ruth Olurumbi. I write for Bloomberg News. My question is, $4 billion you mentioned, is this funding you've secured over time from 2015 to date, or are there new funding secured? Then the other question I have is is about the bill at the national that is being considered. So I wanted to know how this plan to offer states the ability to produce electricity change things in Nigeria. Which states do you think are able to produce power immediately or very soon? And what other changes do you see in the regulation coming in? So the second question is about the plans that is being offered to states to produce their own electricity. So do you see this changing things in Nigeria? Like, is it going to improve electricity supply in Nigeria? Which states do you see producing immediately or very soon? And do you see any other changes or plans to regulate the power sector in the country? And also after this, I would like to talk to you personally.
Honorable Minister, my name is Deji Lumoye. I write for This Day newspapers. Deji Lumoye, This Day newspapers. Amid the fuel scarcity situation that has lingered for weeks in the country, Nigerians are now battling epileptic power supply. What is causing this erratic electricity supply across the country, and how feasible is a prompt solution? Thank you, sir.
Honourable Minister, my name is Dr. Anule Emmanuel. I write for AFP News Agency. Minister, I listened to you when you started your opening remarks, and you said something about 8,000 megawatts daily deliverable. I don't understand. What do you mean by that? Are you saying that this is the actual generated power that goes daily to the Nigerian consumers? And in the PMG report that you mentioned earlier, an increase of about 93.27%. That is about from 204 megawatts to 8,000 megawatts is actually noted. But with a concern that due to systems constraint, generated power is rejected and forced to be reduced. So if this is noted in that report, why do you say 8,000 daily deliverable? I don't understand that, please.
The Honorable Minister, my name is John Bosco Abakuru. I write for Vanguard. Minister, sir, I do know that there was an agreement between the Nigerian Labour Congress and the federal government that there should not be any tariff increase. But of late, sir, we've discovered that even when you pay for units, there is a reduction in the number of units they give to you. What is responsible for that, sir? The second question, sir, we do know that Nigeria supplies power to about 4 neighboring countries. I want to find out, with the challenges we are having, what do we really benefit by supplying power to these countries? Thank you.
Thank you very much. The way I'm going to approach your questions is at some time intermittently I may have cause to ask my colleagues to address some of the issues, okay? So it's not a matter of laughing. We are a team, okay? I will address your questions, but they should not come here and be like novice, just sitting down, okay? So after all, we have a regulator here with us. You may like at some time to have more details from him, isn't it? So, Mrs. Ruth, you say after this you would like to see me. I don't know why, anyway, but yeah. So, you talked about the $4,000, whether it is something that has been approved now or over time. Sorry, $4 billion. It is from 2015 up to now, the money that we are working with in to repair the grid, okay? It is the whole quantum I'm giving here. I hope that addressed that. The bill in the National Assembly, I would not like to talk about it because it's still being considered in the National Assembly. It has a long way to go, coming to the president, going back, and anything I may say here, I don't think it is good to talk about it now. So let's wait and see, seeing it is being under consideration. Thank you for that. The J room, please, if I don't call the name well, the jurume of this day, erratic. Yeah, I think I have addressed that in the speech. Aside from the low capacity of the hydro water in the dams and the challenges we're having in the repairs currently undergone in some of the generators. So this causes all these power outages. I have addressed that in that speech. Dr. Emmanuel, the Emmanuel, when you are asking, I want you to feel free. Don't, because the way you are asking me, I was even afraid. So, so we are supposed to have a parley, you know. So, yeah, now you are putting a nice face that will give me comfort to answer you well. Yeah, yes. Okay, please, yeah. So, the 8,000 megawatts, you know what is captive? Captive are generation done by a certain industry for their own use. But they have to have the enabling environment, the license to do that by NAC before they erect a power plant in their own domain to power their own investment. This is captive. Now, if there is no this license, they cannot do so. And whatever they do in that industry affects all of us. So we consider it to be part of the generation since it's within the country. And it is the policy of government that provided that enabling environment for them to be able to do this captive generation. So we have measured that. Go to Mabushi now, Ministry of Works and Housing. They have their own independent electricity of 1 megawatt, 1.5 megawatt, which they power the 4 buildings. They have to have license from NAC to do so. It's also captive until they join the grid. And they may decide to, I'm just giving you a typical example. They may decide to join the grid through their disco in that franchise area. And it is now becoming embedded. So we have measured all this capacity abound the landscape of the country through the consultant, KPMG. So apart from the operational capacity of which we are trying so hard to improve by rehabilitating the grid through all these interventions that I have spoken about, we have measured all these ones. Anything above 1 megawatt, we have measured in this country. And it's giving us that it is not only that 4,000. We have other ones which made up to 8,000. This is what it means, okay? Captive, embedded, and on-grid, as I explained earlier. I hope that answers. Well, we, in a way, consume it, since it is in the country. Some of them, I said that some of them join the grid, provide electricity to the local community around that area. So this is what it means, okay? So John Bosco, what is responsible for tariff increase from the labor? I have spoken about it in the speech. Service. It's a service-based tariff. We have bands, band A, B, C. There is no way a disco can increase tariff with poor service. And if he make investment and he provides service, the area he's providing service will change band based on the rules and regulation. And if he does not provide good service, there is no way he will increase tariff. He may reduce the tariff. The NAC will force him to reduce the tariff. That's what we are saying. So I hope that answers the question. Thank you very much. Pardon? To neighboring countries. Oh, wow. Niger. And which country again? Benin Republic, Togo. Yeah. But they are our country now. They are neighbors. Why? Eh? So, this is John Bull question, please. Wait for your turn. It is John Bosco's question. Yes. So, you see, by giving, just recently, we came back from West African Power Pool, the WAP, which is a collaboration between Nigeria, Niger, Benin, Togo, and Burkina Faso to provide a 330 line from Kebbi to Burkina Faso, over 800 kilometers, under the West African Power Pool, under the ECOWAS. Last week we were in Niger to have the second meeting on that. So what that means is providing the line, the transport. Then what happened after that? Electricity is a market. Someone may invest and decide to sell the electricity. Mind you, generation is privatized. Anyone here, after doing all the due diligence, can go into investment and produce electricity. If you have your license, you will come to have handshake on the grid and sell wherever you want. This is how we are trying to make the market thrive. The government is in the middle with the grid. And for everybody to come on the grid has to be strong to carry all. Now, the West African Power Pool, we are only building the line inside Nigeria of 72 kilometers within Kebbi State. Niger will build their own part with their own money, wherever they get their own money. Togo, so is Benin, so is Burkina Faso. Then it will be linked together. Now, the electricity may flow either way. Someone may decide to have a plant in Burkina Faso. Then Nigeria will benefit if he has a PPA, power purchase agreement, with, for instance, Bua Cement Company, which is in Sokoto now. Somebody from Burkina Faso will sell that power to Bua through bilateral eligible customer, and the electricity will flow back to Nigeria. In case we have problem, which we are not above to have, Burkina Faso will supply back. And the intention is to connect the sub-region, the whole West African sub-region, so that people can come in and trade electricity. Who knows, tomorrow, John Bosco, after this sensitization, may decide to say, this John doesn't pay much. Let me join this electricity industry. So this is how it is. It's a very good market, you know. It is not about taking our electricity away or no. It is about trading. Just as we are building roads to link borders. We have, for instance, the Trans-Saharan route, which we are building from Lagos to Niger up to Algeria. But it is not Nigeria that is building that. We are building only our own part up to the border of Niger. And it is an understanding that everyone will do his own bit on that route up to, so that trading can go on. But it is only when you have something to trade that you can go on that road. If you don't have, you stay. So if you don't have electricity to give, you can shut down. I cannot give. It is only when there is something to sell that you can sell. So this is the situation we are in. It is not about giving Niger this. If we get foreign exchange, and it will they pay in foreign exchange, and it will come to the country, and it's what we need now. We need liquidity in the sector. So I hope that answers John Bosco's question. Thank you very much.
John Bosco.
Pardon? Well, this is a nitty-gritty that I need to get back to you at some point to give you those figures. I'm just trying to give you the whole concept. Okay?
Okay. We'll take the next set of questions.
What is Gloria saying? Like this.
Don't worry, you'll be in the second set.
Well, let me take this one also as part of the nitty-gritty that I will have to come back to you again after. Please.
Okay, we'll take the next set of questions, then I'll add, think about 3 questions, because this briefing online is generating a lot of engagement. We have over 5 questions already online, but we'll take 4 from here and then take maybe 3 from the online platform. So I'll start with Felix Reuters. Okay, Gloria. And then Juliana, Mr. Anthony Ailemen, and Chairman, sir. With your permission, do we increase the number? We have 4 already. Do we increase? Okay, sir. Yemi Adebayo, and then Daily Trust. Okay, your mask, your mask didn't allow me to see you. So we have 6, please. In that order, Felix, please.
Honorable Minister, my name is Felix Onwa, I write for Reuters.
Pardon, please?
Felix Onwa.
Felix.
And I write for Reuters, World News Agency. Recently, a bid was opened for the building of 400 megawatts of nuclear power plants for Nigeria. I would like you to give us the updates on the companies that are bidded and when that project is going to start. And to know whether Russia, the Russian companies that wanted to take up the project were allowed to bid for the project. Secondly, no.
Can we keep it to just one question, please? We have 6, please.
Zengoro power plant. I would like to know when it's coming up.
Okay.
Stream. Thank you very much.
Okay. Good morning, Honorable Minister. My name is Juliana Taiwo Baloyin of the Sun newspapers. During your presentation, you made mention of projects being stalled as a result of right-of-way, issues of right-of-way. You mentioned only 3. I would like to know if there are more and what's the implication. And then I need clarification on this 40 billion debt. Is that the debt portfolio to discos entirely, or this is what you are paying for now?
I'm Gloria Mezuke from Television. Just talking about the first phase of the National Mass Metering Program, a lot of Nigerians complain that they still have to pay for meters, in spite of the fact that we hear government officials say day in, day out that it is free. So where is that disconnect? Are you monitoring, are you sanctioning anybody for, actually paying or selling these meters? Because we haven't heard anything about it. And then you also mentioned there's a reduction of the hydropower, yes, generation. And that's responsible for the power supply, delta we see right now. About this, is there a timeline? Because Nigerians are indeed suffering. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm Muhyiddin Olani. I write for Daily Trust newspaper. Still on Sungeru hydropower project. With the federal government, with the federal government concession the management of that power plant to a private company.
Is that all?
It's finished.
What's the name of the last person? Mui. Nuru. Okay. Oh, okay.
Honorable Minister, sir.
Yes, sir.
My name is Yemi Adebayo from AIT. My question is going to toe the line of the one asked by my colleagues from Channels Television. I'm here, sir.
Okay.
Yes, you said about 1 million meters have been distributed to Nigerians under the first phase of the national metering program. I'm a bit worried, considering the fact that, like she said, Nigerians still has to pay for these meters which has been distributed. How effective are you monitoring this process? Because despite the fact that you said 1 million meters has been distributed, you still find it difficult that these meters are not in most of the households in Nigeria. Then secondly, I remember that in 2021, when you took over from the former Minister of Power, Mr. Salimama, I'm sure that by now you must have clearly seen some of the issues within the power sector in Nigeria. What fresh ideas have you bring on board to actually address some of these challenges? Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, sir. Honorable Minister, my name is Tony Ailemen. Tony.
I'll take you more than 4.
I write for...
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I write for Business Day.
You say what? Your name?
Business Day. My name is Tony, sir. Tony.
Tony.
Yes, sir. I write for Business Day, sir. Sir, my question has to do with the cement power. I don't know if you want to throw light on it. Where are we? It's so important to us because I remember it was about 2 years ago when our former chief of staff traveled out of this country on that particular mission, and we know what happened thereafter. Number 2, sir, has to do with the issue of punishment for discos who are erring in their services. Can you please throw more light? What kind of punishment or sanctioning are you putting in place, and what are these issues that will lead to such discos being sanctioned? Thank you.
Thank you.
Before the Honorable Minister takes the answers, the questions online, 2 of them have been asked already in line with what Gloria and Yemi mentioned, that the exact number of meters so far distributed under the National Mass Metering Program was asked by Samuel Adeola, who is watching online. And then Adeyinka Adeyemi mentioned the issue about discos. What steps is government taking to ensure commensurate improvement of power and also to make sure there's investment in the discos? Then the final one, which hasn't been mentioned here, is what the government is doing to support local production of solar panels in collaboration with agencies like Naseni. Thank you, and the Honorable Minister will take the questions now. Thank you.
Thank you. Felix, I guess it is not only me that want to talk about Russia and nuclear these days, with what is going on around. Anyway, the 400 megawatts nuclear power bill, which you have mentioned, is not under our purview. So I would not like to say anything on that. It's not under our mandate. So the Zungero, you asked what is the position Yes, Zungero is over 90% completion. We will have commissioned this project December, January, if not for the challenges we are facing there. Recently, before that, we have security challenges. We had COVID-19 over 1 year, and that dragged the timetable back. So recently, on the 4th of January, the insurgents attacked the site, killed some Nigerians, wounded 1 Chinese, and abducted 2 Chinese. Up to this moment, their release has not been secured. So this is the major issue that is facing the delivery of that project. But we are working with them. We have gotten more support. We have procured vehicles recently for them to improve on the security so that they go back to site. But they are not working in full swing, but they are working partially. We have 2 sites. One is the main power plant and the dam. Then we have a line to a switch yard where we call the triple point, where they do the switch yard, and it is that switch yard that we are trying to ensure is completed so that we will commission that project. So this is the situation at Zungero. In fact, the Chinese are not working in full swing. So, but very soon we will surmount this challenge, inshallah, and see that we deliver that project. I hope that address your question there. Then, Juliana, you talk about right of way. No, I just gave you a typical case, but almost everywhere we are doing projects, on TCN projects, more especially on lines, because lines are the transport of electricity, and from A to B is a long distance. I have mentioned Benin North to Oshogbo is over 200 kilometers. So, but we are working so hard to see how we remove that challenge. We are working with the state governors, with the communities, but it takes a lot of time. And apart from the delay that it causes on the TCN project, after the delay, the market is a moving target. Prices move up. You will have to face another challenge of variation coming from the contractor. So it is not only the ones that I have mentioned. They are so numerous. This is a typical case that I have given, one in Benin to Oshobo, Kano, Kazina, and several others. So we hope you can assist also, because it is our responsibility, all of us, so in any way you can, so that let's have the passage, because we need to expand the network to be able to connect so many places. 330 kV is a very big electricity. Once you take it to a particular location, their problem is as good as finished, because it is from that 330 you radiate the 132 further. So if you take 132, 200 kilometers, by the time you reach your destination, you experience a lot of losses. The electricity will be very, very small there. But if you take the 330, that place will be a hub for other expansions. So this is the work we need to be doing, is the work that we have not been doing on the grid for a very long time. It is now that the grid is receiving attention. And it is that attention that has taken us to the relative stability we are seeing, even with the on-grid 4,000 to 5,000 megawatts. Otherwise, we used to have collapses, which I've mentioned in the speech. So this is where we are. Then do Nigerians have to pay for meters? This one is from my friend Gloria. What are you doing about that? Yes. You know, Nigerians, this is how we are. You will always have these kind of things, like somebody try to change one another. Otherwise, these meters are free. We say it number of times that these meters are supposed to, these are the tools that will generate liquidity. How can we be selling something that will bring in the money? Like this camera now. Can I say, can you say that I have to give you money before you take this picture? It is this tool that you use to have your own income. So you will charge your battery, you will do everything, get the tripod and stand there and take what you are taking. So this is what meters does. So how can we go and be selling the meters? We need, that's why, and it is the responsibility of the discourse. And the government is seeing that they are not doing it. And it is what they will do, we get the money, government get the money and improve the sector. So government is stepping in, giving them the meter, go. Take the meter, so that the meter will be there, but there will always be Agberos and Kabu. And I think it is the Agberos and the Kabu that does this kind of shady deals. So, but we are... I am still addressing your, but I think, moderator, you have to save me. Oh. She has finished her turn. It's my turn now. So, you see, like I said, we are not just folding our arms. And to tell you what you are doing, we are giving them clue on how to change tactics. But we are doing a lot to ensure that that stops. And we are going to stop it. This I assure you. So I hope you are comfortable now. Thank you. So we go to Nuruddin of Daily Trust, Zungero. Yes, Zungero, eventually we are looking at the concessioning, yes. It's not something that we have not done before. If you look at similar projects, they have been concession. They are better managed by the private than the government managing an infrastructure like this. What do you call it? KNG is under concession, so why not? But our own concern now is to complete the project, which is around close to 95% completion. If not for this small problem that we're facing, and there's becoming a major challenge, but we'll surmount it, inshallah. Yemi of AIT, you said I came in as a Minister of Power. Yemi wanted the traditional approach that once you are appointed as a Minister of Power, you come in and say, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Thank God I didn't do that. The question would have been different now. So, yes, I came into power and I met people in the power sector. There are many. And we have enormous human resources in the sector. So what I did, I when I met all of them after receiving the briefing, I said, then why are we having problem in the sector when we have all these resources, human resources? So I begin to realize that they only needed to be listened to. They only needed to be coordinated, to come together and face the challenge together. That's when the sector will be strong. And alhamdulillah, I am able to achieve that with all of them. As you can see, we are all here together with my colleague and all of the sector heads. Recently, we have borrowed a leaf from what is happening in the power sector working group here. We thought, okay, why don't we set up ministry sector working group? This is now our think tank, where all the directors and the agency heads and their assistants meet under my chairmanship every 2 weeks to discuss the sector, to challenge one another, to point fingers at one another. And we are looking at expanding it to include at some point other players. Since it is a value chain, if we don't involve others, we may not get the required benefit of that sitting. So it is yielding result. Everyone is now on one page. What I'm talking about now, if I can give the microphone to my colleague, he will be talking the same. In abstract, I may call somebody, REA or NEMCO. He will give you the same answer. Because now we have what is called synergy. So with the synergy now, we are able to achieve some of these milestones that I've talked to you about. So we'll continue. We are still work in progress. We'll continue to do that, and inshallah, with your support, we will move mountains. I hope that answers your question. I believe this is a fresh idea, as you said. Then semen, yeah. You want me to talk more on the semen? Yes. We have lost a lot of time on the semen issue, the delivery of the semen. I'm not going to bother you with how it started, because you all know about that. Right now, just as I said in the speech, we have contracted with Siemens to produce and deliver 10 power transformers. Yeah, the name is all the same, transformer. The one hung in front, a dedicated transformer in front of somebody's house that deliver 50, the one that is in the neighborhood, they are all transformers. The one you see in the substations, 150, 60, they are all transformers. But this one is different. It has never been brought into this country. They are massive one, 10 of them, plus 10 mobile substations. This is a substation, mobile, it's on wheel. You drive it to wherever you are doing construction, and you transfer the electricity to this one, and nobody will notice. You will finish doing the construction and remove and connect back on the new in situ that you have provided. This is what it means. Then you can take it away and keep it. And anytime there is going to be repairs in any substation, this one can be driven to be installed temporarily to continue the supply of electricity until the repair is being done. This is what the mobile substation means. Then the Mobitra transformers. We have identified load centers across the country where these transformers will be taken immediately, and it will give us the boost of the quick win we have been talking about in the phase 1 of the Siemens. So they are coming together with this. We were able to get a slot for the factory to start. They have started the work. Very soon we will visit Germany to go and see, and we'll send you the videos, the pictures of what is going on in the factory. So it is being manufactured now. So, well, we have never denied any one of you from coming along with us to places that we go. It has to be coordinated, depending on when and how we are going. So this is the coordination. We have never denied anyone here following us to somewhere. So we'll, the MD, federal government, Nigeria is here, Power Co is here, Kenny. So you take FGN Power, you take North. So we'll coordinate and see how it goes. So this early order that we have made is an achievement in the Siemens intervention. So by the time these equipment have arrived to the country, we will have reached a time when the EPC that we are procuring now will have moved to site to start work on the over 100 substation that I have spoken about in the speech, which we have some greenfield, some brownfield. So you can imagine working on over 100 substation, and you don't have these mobile substations to assist you in continuity of the supply of electricity. It's going to be helter-skelter. So we have done that. We are now procuring the EPC. And what was agreed between us and the Siemens is that the Siemens are the ones to provide the EPC contractors, and they have nominated that. And we have evaluated them. We have reached a very high level of the procurement. So we'll continue to tell you what we are doing on that. But we are chasing it seriously to ensure that we deliver something. Pardon? One question at a time. You say what? The whole package is there all the time. It's $2 billion, just a little above 2 billion. Is it not so? I've said it in the speech, and it has been said since. So I think so. That's the amount. Yeah. So is that all? Okay. So I'm beginning to enjoy the. The unmetered customers. Well, the unmetered. You say your question is for who? Aha, neck. I'm beginning to lose my saliva. So
And oh, I have water here. So, so Nak.
It's in your presentation. Very. Okay, I think it's very clear from the Honorable Minister's presentation that right now it's about 6 million unmetered customers. The numbers are moving by the day because new connections have been made, some meters are going bad and so on. So if we're talking about round figures, it's about 6 million unmetered customers. Phase 1 of NNMP will be 4 million meters, and then the World Bank will be financing the balance of the meters. And then, of course, there will be a continuous market for meters where as meters go bad, they are being replaced. And also, new connections will always be on the basis of a metered customer. Thank you. Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, this one is working. I think the question was about, we seem to have, we are standing still. Last year, 6 million, this year, 6 million, after installing 1 million meters. So I was trying to explain that some of the meters that have been acquired recently are being applied towards replacing defective meters that are in the system. And there are also new connections that have been made. So I did say at the beginning of my intervention that this 6 million unmetered is a moving target. As you install more meters, some are going bad, some new connections, and so on. Even customer enumeration is also widening the gap for the metering gap. I'm sure you're aware that there are a number of customers today in the system where the DISCO is still struggling to identify. So as you now enumerate more customers, you now put them along in the numbers that you have as unmetered customers. I hope I have answered your question.
Okay, because I was thanking the minister and his team for the very insightful and very rich presentation that he has made. And I'm sure that actually some of the questions also had been answered before, you know, the session for the Q&A came. And it is very important that the copy of the text read by the Honorable Minister be shared. I hope we'll get an e-copy immediately. Minister, you have done well, and we thank you for this. You know, from the point of view of politics and promise delivery, I think that for me, I think that the thing that gladdens one the most is, you know, the numbers presented. This country's power availability rising to 18,000 megawatts. I thought when we came in 2015, we were aspiring to get to 5,000 or so. You know, and actual dispatch now, 8,000 meters, homes and factories. We are making progress. We are not everywhere. We haven't done all that we had perhaps aspired to do. I think that it is important that we acknowledge that so much is happening, and especially in this very short period that the new minister has come in. I'm sure if you recall, when the president did an interview with the China's television and the NTA the first week of January this year, the president had very kind words for this minister, for the work he's doing. So we commend you for all of the efforts you are making. I'm sure that by the end, by the time they handle this presentation, they will do it so well as they have done all the time. Another round of applause would follow. Yes, sir. So you, at the correspondence, we thank you for making this a very lively and very rewarding forum for leaders in government. We hope you continue to make it so. Lastly, please, our sympathies to our colleague, Dr. Leon Usugbe. You know, he came under knife attack 2 nights ago. I hope that we will do all that we can to support him. So we thank members of the delegation of the minister, the permanent secretary, Nebolisa is my good friend. He's the face mask. I think you're wearing an oversized face mask. Yes. Engineer Farouk Yabo, I have met him in television. He has done excellently well, also representing the minister on a platform we shared. Briskila, she cooked our food at UN and we're in Suka together. and I'm telling you, they helped the men. I don't know whether this happens in the country today. You know, female students coming from their hostel, especially when we are fasting. And they are not Muslims either. But that's the unity we had at UNN. Thank you very much for, yes. Oluseyi Oduntanye, the Assistant Director of Press. We also have Kenny Anue, MD, FGN Company. We have Engineer Garba Sunusi, a very senior elder who have been together for a very long time. Engineer Aliyu, we thank you for coming. This is the MD, NEMSA. Mr. A. Fagbemi, MD CEO, NELMCO. Engineer Abdul Aziz, the MD of TCN. Engineer Kingsley Oda, the Honorable SA to the Honorable Minister. We thank everyone for being here, cameras, everyone, and we hope that we'll all be pleased at the end of the day with the outcome of this discussion. Thank you and wish you well. Oh, did I miss? Okay, we missed this is our younger son now, the REA Managing Director. And okay, our colleagues in the Presidential Communications team. And in particular, the Special Advisor to the President on Infrastructure. We had high hopes of his participation. We know that he's working very well embedded in the power sector. And we have been assured that he will also be present to reinforce the minister. And I think that they did this in the earlier room before they came here. On the other room, I think that's what they call it. Yes. Okay. So everyone, our colleagues, the engine room people, particularly the SSA to the President, Strategic Communications. Okay, you've been doing well on these things. Uche, thank you. Loretta and all of the other presidential communications people. We thank you. If we missed anyone, it's not deliberate, but we thank everyone for coming. Thank you. Oh, the minister. No. You should blame him. Why is she wearing a Hausa cap today? Thank you very much. Okay.